Nigeria police force under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetoken, has kept mum since a video went viral on social media platforms, wherein allegation of bringing people illegally to settle inside forest in Edo State was made against the divisional police officer, the DPO, who is currently serving at the divisional police headquarters at Ugboha community in the Essen Southeast local government area in the state, a state that have witnessed rampant cases of kidnappings in recent time, especially since the beginning of this year, despite the fact that the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebholo, has executed the destruction of numbers of houses or properties of apparent innocent landlords or people who may not have direct connection with the crime. It may be recalled that early 2025, the governor demolished a residential property on College Road simply because it was linked to a kidnapping gang operating in the Aduawa, Iyan, and Benin Auchi Road bypass axis, even when the building belonged to a woman based in Italy. Just that, her brother, Osamede Asamota, the alleged key leader of the gang, allegedly used it to coordinate abductions. This is just one of many properties demolished by the Edo state government over kidnapping in the state, yet, records of kidnappings in the state continued to grow higher, and recent police and military arrests indicated that Edo State is perhaps under siege of foreign invaders who may have taken over larger part of the state forest to coordinate kidnappings in the state while working with some of the local residents to perpetuate the criminal act. It may be interesting to note that another set of non-indigenes of the state arrested by the police recently included 2 persons caught inside the specialist hospital in Auchi. The 2 suspects who were said to be non-indigenes of the state were among the gang of kidnappers behind the abduction of Dr. Abu Babatunde, who regained his freedom after his family reportedly paid a sum of 50 million nairas ransom after the doctor and his younger brother were abducted on January 2, 2026. While opening the gate to their residence along City Pride Road, Igbira Camp, Auchi, and unfortunately, the younger brother was later found dead on January 5 near the Orly River along City Pride Road, with police suspecting he was killed by the abductors, and the alleged illegal settlers who confessed the Ugboha DPO as their facilitator, are said to be non-Nigerians from foreign countries. According to one of the vigilantes who caught the illegal settlers, the arrested illegal settlers in the forest will be taken to the station. The vigilante member also said the illegal settlers are not Nigerians, and close watchers said people are brought in and smuggled into Edo forests illegally, and such people may be responsible for the act of kidnapping in the state. Available records indicated that the kidnapping situation in the state is currently happening almost daily, with numbers of the state residents and indigenes also recorded dead or killed by kidnappers since Governor Monday Okpebholo came into power. On the recent arrest of 2 suspects at the specialist hospital in Auchi, the Edo State Command Public Relations Officer, Ino Ikiodum, the first breakthrough came on the 3rd of February 2026. Operatives of the Auchi Division, while conducting a routine bush combing operation in collaboration with local hunters and vigilante groups, at Warake Forest, and following a lead-on and intelligence, intercepted 1 Samanu Kawuji, male, and a search conducted on the suspect led to the recovery of 2 knives, 2 mobile phones, 1 UBA ATM card, and the sum of 20,250 naira. An identification parade was conducted at the police station, and he was identified by one of the abductors of Dr. Abu Babatunde. Similarly, on the 8th of February 2026 at about 9 o'clock hours, the divisional police officer, following a lead on the same case, mobilized operatives to the specialist hospital, Auchi, where 2 suspects identified as Idris Abubakar, male, and Sani Abubakar, male, were apprehended at the hospital premises. Both suspects have also been identified as part of the gang that abducted Dr. Babatunde on February 1, 2026. Idris Abubakar was identified as the particular person who received ransom money for the release of Dr. Abu. Efforts have been intensified towards conducting a comprehensive and discreet investigation aimed at dismantling the entire notorious organized criminal network responsible for the kidnappings in Auchi and its environs. The Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, CP Monday Agbonika, reassures members of the public of the command's resolve to pursue all kidnapping cases to a logical conclusion and bring perpetrators to justice, while sustaining aggressive bushcombing operations and intelligence-led policing across the state. The command can be reached on the following numbers: emergency control room numbers 08077773721 and 08037646272, and for complaints, Public Complaints Bureau, PCB 08150999335, Complaints Response Unit, CRU 08100389992. Meanwhile, a lecturer with the Federal Polytechnic, Auchi, Isa Abdulaziz, had earlier on Sunday posted on his Facebook wall that Dr. Abu Babatunde reported for duty today, Sunday, February 8, 2026, at the Edo State University Teaching Hospital, unaware that his routine workday would reopen one of the darkest chapters of his life. While on ward rounds, Dr. Babatunde noticed some individuals who had come to visit a patient. In a chilling moment of recognition, he identified among them members of the same kidnapping gang that abducted him and his younger brother, a tragic incident that ended with the killing of his brother while attempting to escape from the den. Acting swiftly, Dr. Babatunde immediately alerted the local security outfit, popularly known as the Vigilante. However, under circumstances that remain unclear, the information reportedly leaked to the police before the Vigilante team could arrive. Police officers moved in promptly, arresting 2 of the suspects and detaining them today, Sunday, February 8, 2026, at the Divisional Police Station in Auchi. Fresh accounts emerging today further deepen the case. One of the individuals who participated in delivering the ransom that secured Dr. Babatunde's release has identified one of the arrested suspects as being among those who physically received the ransom on the day the payment was made. Another report indicates that, just last night, the 2 suspects carried out POS transactions at a stand within Auchi, raising fresh questions about the source of the funds. A significant sum of money was allegedly found in their possession at the time of arrest today, an amount investigators believe is inconsistent with the known means and strongly suggestive of criminal activity. As this report is being filed today, credible sources confirm that pressure is already being mounted on the divisional police officer in Auchi to release the suspects. This development has sparked widespread concern within the community. Notably, during a recent meeting with Auchi youth bodies, the DPO was reportedly overheard stating that the case had become widely publicized and could no longer be swept under the carpet, an indication that attempts may already be underway to compromise the process. For a community long traumatized by kidnapping and violent crime, today's arrests represent a critical moment. The people of Auchi and its environs are watching closely. The Edo state government must now take decisive responsibility. Governor Monday Okpebholo is urged to ensure that investigations are thorough and transparent and that, if the suspects are found guilty, the full weight of the Edo state anti-kidnapping law is applied without interference. Justice for Dr. Abu Babatunde, for his murdered brother, and for countless victims across Edo North must not be delayed or denied. Today must mark a turning point, not another missed opportunity.
Huh? Speak English. If you don't speak English, you not be sick.
Speak English.
Which person?
Speak English.
Which person Karuna come? Okay. Which person you mention in name? Ugba DPO. Now Karuna come. Okay. No Ugba DPO Karuna come. Okay. No problem. Okay. You know the state. You know this are you in Nigeria? Huh? Are you in Nigeria? Why they tell me say see your ID card? Bring the ID card, come. Give me. Call the person when you want to call. DPO for Ugba. Okay. No, sorry.
You don't because I forgot your neck now. That's not the different place.
Hi, Waka.
Where did DPO JFA? Yes. Hey, yeah, video. What do you want to do with the hungry? Hey, stop. You know what we do now? We go drop now for station.
Be looking at me now. You, they look me. Hey, they look me. Look me.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
Day after the Edo State Commissioner of Police, Monday, Agbonika personally led troops of joint security operatives at the dead of the night to launch offensive attacks against kidnappers in the forest. The commander, 4 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Ahmed Balogun, also personally led troops of joint security operatives to the kidnappers' hideouts and launched massive military clearance and offensive actions against kidnappers. Both security operations led to the arrest of several suspected kidnappers allegedly caught in the act inside the bush, with the identities of the arrested suspects indicating that most of the kidnappers terrorizing Edo State are from the far northern part of Nigeria, an observation which appeared to have challenged the public policy statement made earlier in January 2026 by the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebholo, who stated that many of those involved in the kidnapping surge in Edo State are indigenes of the area, saying that may be the reason some kidnappers wear face masks. The governor made this statement as kidnapping in the state appeared to have become worse in 2026 and very rampant in a manner that indicated that an average of 1 to 2 persons are being kidnapped in a day in Edo State, as more than 60 persons became new victims of the increasing criminal activities in the state since the beginning of 2026. Like, in January 2, 2026, 2 brothers, Dr. Abu Ibrahim Babatunde, a medical doctor on housemanship, and Abu Tahir, a fresh graduate, were kidnapped at the gate of their residence along City Pride Road, Igbira camp in Auchi. The kidnappers initially demanded a 200 million naira ransom, and tragically, on January 5, one of the 2 brothers was found dead. On January 9, 2026, 8 indigenes of a Moga community in the Arkoko, Edo local government area of the state were abducted from a hotel along Abilo Road. Since the start of 2026, Edo State has experienced a significant surge in kidnappings, leading to widespread protests at Ikpoma in the Edo Central Senatorial Zone, with multiple police rescue operations, including the incidents reported early February 2026, where police rescued 9 victims, including 5 children and a separate group of 14 victims. This is that, earlier on January 22, 2026, a farmer named Monday Adero was kidnapped and later rescued, and in late January, another farmer, Abraham Udwa, and his 2 wives, Brinda and Anna, were abducted from Agoro Amende community but successfully rescued by security forces. In mid-January, Ake Favor and a former student union leader were kidnapped in Edo Central. Troubled by the surge in kidnapping in the state, residents and students of Ambrose Ali University, AAU, staged a major protest on January 10, 2026, citing daily kidnappings and the abduction of a university professor and numerous students. On February 2, 2026, a family of 9 was ambushed at Eko Abeku Ioa Road in Ovia Northeast local government area, and the kidnappers demanded a 260 million naira ransom for 4 children and 2 women still held after 5 others were rescued or released. That aside, on January 31, 2026, gunmen intercepted a commercial bus near Ekiodola, shooting the driver and taking passengers into the bush. Police later rescued 13 victims. In mid-January 2026, multiple residents in Ikpoma were abducted, including a victim captured on CCTV being taken from his compound. According to Captain Kennedy Anyanwu, the Assistant Director of Army Public Relations at 4 Brigade Nigerian Army, troops of 4 Brigade, Nigerian Army, in collaboration with personnel of the Nigerian Air Force, Edo State Police Command, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, and the Edo State Security Corps, on the 4th of February 2026 conducted a clearance operation, codenamed Operation Igbo Danu 1 to neutralize, flush out terrorists, kidnappers and rescue victims at Asara community in Etsiko West local government area as well as Auchi and Okpela communities all in Edo North Senatorial District of Edo State. During the operation, 8 suspected kidnappers and illicit drug peddlers were arrested. The suspects were identified as Jamalu Muhammad, 25, Kasim Abu, 33, Brimo Afiz, 31, Suleiman Hamisu, 36, Lawan Umaru, 25, Bawa Awal, 24, Musa Umaru, 40, and Amodu Atai, 50. Weapons recovered from the suspects include 1 English auto-pump action gun, 4 live cartridges, and 1 locally made pistol. Other items seized were a point of sale, POS, machine, 2 cutlasses, a Nikon digital camera, 2 Android phones, a metal hook, 5 bottles of codeine syrup, 2 Indian hemp weighing scales, and quantities of substances suspected to be cannabis sativa, tramadol, ice, loud and colos. The sum of 87,550 nairas was also recovered. The suspects and recovered items have been handed over to the Edo State Police Command for further investigation. In a related development, troops of 4 Brigade, in conjunction with the Edo State Police Command also combed the Avili Forest in Etsiko West local government area aimed at flushing out suspected terrorists and kidnappers. During the raid, 5 suspected kidnappers, Isiaka Abubakar, 37, Muhammad Abubakar, 25, Yusuf Abubakar, 24, Muhammad Somu, 20, and Isiaka Ibrahim, 30, were arrested. Items recovered from them include 2 motorcycles, 2 Android phones, and a power bank. The suspects and recovered items were also handed over to the police for further investigation. The commander, 4 Brigade, Brigadier General Ahmed Balagun, who led the operations, commended the swift response and collaboration among the security agencies. He warned that Edo State will be untenable for terrorists, kidnappers and other criminal elements to carry out the nefarious activities. He also reaffirmed the brigade's commitment to safeguarding lives and properties in the state. He expressed appreciation to the General Officer Commanding 2 Division, Nigerian Army, Major General Shinidu Nebefe, for his strategic guidance and support. While ASP Eno Ikiodum, the Edo Police Command Public Relations Officer had stated that, in continuation of the joint clearance operations, a meticulously executed night operation that underscores the resolve of synergized security forces to confront crime at its roots was conducted. The Edo State Police Command, in the early hours of Tuesday the 3rd of February 2026, carried out a daring raid deep within the Agbede Forest, Etsiko West local government area of Edo State, leading to the arrest of 6 suspects. The operation was launched following a critical intelligence breakthrough provided by a kidnapped victim who was able to clearly identify the forest camp where he had been held captive. Acting decisively on this lead, the Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, CP Monday Agbonika, personally led a formidable joint team comprising the Nigeria Police Force, the Nigerian Army, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, the Edo State Security Corps, ESSC, and local hunters into the heart of the forest under the cover of darkness. Demonstrating precision and determination, the joint team drove for approximately 3 hours until the end of the last accessible motorable road. From that point, the operatives advanced on foot, navigating dense forest paths and crossing three locally constructed wooden bridges to reach the identified camp. The silent advance, which lasted close to two additional hours, ensured tactical surprise and prevented any compromise of the mission. Upon arrival at the location at about 3:45 a.m., the area was swiftly cordoned off in a well-coordinated encirclement, effectively cutting off all escape routes. A thorough sweep of the camp resulted in the arrest of 6 suspects identified as Mikel Jendiger, male, aged 41 years, from Benue State, Yusuf Abubakar, male, aged 34 years, from Kanu State, Isiaka Abraham, male, aged 30 years, from Kogi State, Isiaka Abubakar, male, aged 37 years, from Kano State, Mohammed Sumo, male, aged 20 years, from Kano State, and Mohammed Abubakar, male, aged 25 years, from Kano State. The suspects are currently being profiled and subjected to intensive investigation by officers of the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, Benin City, for diligent prosecution. Describing the operation as a clear message to criminal elements, the Commissioner of Police commends the courage, discipline, and seamless interagency collaboration displayed by all personnel involved. He reaffirms the command's determination to take the fight against organized crime to the abode of suspected criminals at their most remote locations and warned that Edo State forests will no longer serve as safe havens for criminals. The Edo State Police Command urges members of the public to remain vigilant and to continue supporting security agencies with timely and credible information, assuring citizens that sustained intelligence-led operations will remain a key strategy in securing lives and property across the state.
Bringing you the news in a more digital way.
In this write-up, a legal practitioner, Njoku Jude Njoku pinpoints some fundamentals in the judgment passed against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by Justice James Omotosho, which convicted and sentenced the Biafra Republic agitation leader to life imprisonment, and in this press release the legal practitioner issued in late 2025 entitled, the 24th of November 2025, the day evidence ceased to matter in Nigerian courts, judicial silence, selective justice, and media complicity, described Justice Omotosho as unprofessional, stating that the most dangerous aspect of the judgment delivered by Justice James K. Omotosho is not merely that it reached a foreordained conclusion, but that it did so by deliberately suppressing evidence he already admitted on record in his own court, thereby converting adjudication into a procedural facade. This was not an error of law or an oversight of fact. It was a calculated refusal to engage with material evidence whose evaluation would have fatally undermined the prosecution's narrative, emphasizing that this case is no longer about one man. It is about whether courts may openly disregard admitted evidence and still be treated as legitimate, and whether the media will continue to mask such conduct through silence. A judiciary that can ignore evidence without explanation has ceased to function as a court of law. A media that refuses to question that silence has abdicated its public duty. Together, they place the rule of law itself in existential peril. Continuing, in details, Njoku said, once evidence is admitted, it binds the judge absolutely. The conduct, protest, silence, or alleged boycott of the defendant, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is legally irrelevant to that obligation. Judgment writing is not a negotiation with the accused. It is a solitary judicial duty anchored exclusively to the evidentiary record. A judge may reject defense evidence, but he must first confront it, evaluate it, and explain why it is rejected. Silence is not neutrality. Silence is suppression. Had Justice Omotosho evaluated the admitted video exhibit of Theophilus, T.Y. Danjuma, he would have been confronted with the inescapable reality that public calls for communities to arm themselves in self-defense against murderous violence were not unique to Nnamdi Kanu, nor criminalized when made by powerful establishment figures. Proper evaluation would have compelled the court to accept that Kanu's calls for guns and bullets in Los Angeles, USA or during broadcasts were framed as community self-defense against the ravages of armed Fulani killer herders, not incitement to lawless violence. Had Justice Omotosho evaluated the admitted video evidence of Governor Hope Uzodinma, he would have known, because Uzodinma stated it publicly, that neither Nnamdi Kanu nor the IPOB had any hand in the killing of Ahmed Gulak. That single evaluation would have punctured one of the most politically weaponized allegations surrounding this case. Had Justice Omotosho listened to his fellow Yoruba kinsman and Nigeria's intelligence chief, Adeola Oluwatosin Ajayi, whose statements were also admitted in evidence, he would have been forced to acknowledge that the formation of armed vigilante groups for community defense was openly endorsed at the highest levels of Nigeria's security establishment. That acknowledgement would have led inexorably to the conclusion that Kanu was right to form to defend Igboland when the state failed to do so. Had Justice Omotosho evaluated the evidence surrounding Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry report on NSAS violence, he would have seen the documentary trail showing that Nnamdi Kanu repeatedly wrote to and consulted Southeast governors, urging them to establish a regional security outfit similar to Omotosho. Their refusal, not Kanu's ambition, precipitated the formation of ESN. Proper judicial evaluation would have made clear that ESN was conceptually and functionally analogous to Omotosho, differing only in political acceptance, not in purpose. Had Justice Omotosho reviewed and evaluated the admitted report on NSAS violence, he would have been confronted with authoritative findings that squarely blamed killings and violence on the army and police, not on Nnamdi Kanu. That report decisively dismantles the lazy and dishonest attribution of nationwide violence to IPOB broadcasts and would have stripped the prosecution's claims of moral and evidentiary legitimacy. Had Justice Omotosho paid even minimal attention to chronology, he would have known that attributing post-June 2021 insecurity in the southeast to Nnamdi Kanu is factually and logically impossible. From June 2021 onward, Kanu was held in underground DSS detention, incommunicado, without access to telephones, visitors, counsel, or even his wife. A man locked in solitary confinement, denied all external communication, cannot simultaneously be directing events outside detention walls. Time itself disproves the allegation. The failure to reconcile alleged acts with undisputed detention timelines is not a minor evidentiary lapse. It is a collapse of basic judicial reasoning. Courts that ignore timelines abandon causation, and once causation is abandoned, conviction becomes a matter of narrative convenience rather than proof. These were not speculative arguments. They were admitted exhibits. Their collective evaluation would have collapsed the architecture of the conviction. That is precisely why they were ignored. The refusal to evaluate this evidence was not accidental. It was not procedural. It was outcome-driven. Justice Omotosho ignored them because he was operating under an overriding imperative to convict by all means, regardless of the evidentiary record. This is the gravest danger such a judgment poses. It signals to the judiciary that evidence may be admitted, buried, and erased at the judgment stage without consequence. Even more disturbing is the silence of major international media organizations, none of which asked the most basic question any law student would pose: why did the court ignore defense evidence it had itself admitted? By reproducing the conclusions of the judgment without interrogating its evidentiary omissions, these media houses became unwitting accomplices in the laundering of judicial misconduct. This case is no longer about one man. It is about whether courts may openly disregard admitted evidence and still be treated as legitimate, and whether the media will continue to mask such conduct through silence. A judiciary that can ignore evidence without explanation has ceased to function as a court of law. A media that refuses to question that silence has abdicated its public duty. Together, they place the rule of law itself in existential peril. Who is Njoku Jude Njoku, Esquire? According to Google Gemini, Njoku Jude Njoku, Esquire is a United Kingdom-based human rights lawyer and a key legal advisor to the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. His recent professional activities include legal representation. He serves as a legal consultant for Kanu and is a prominent member of the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Global Defense Consortium. Critique of extradition. He has accused the Nigerian government of violating local and international laws, specifically the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, regarding Kanu's forceful extradition from Kenya in 2021. Judicial advocacy. He has frequently criticized the Nigerian judiciary, describing certain rulings as procedural theater, and suggesting that Nigerian judges require refresher courses on Judicial English, due to what he terms a crisis in the comprehension of laws. Recent filings. As of late January 2026, he has been involved in rejecting court rulings that struck out applications for Kanu's transfer to facilities closer to Abuja, vowing to pursue these matters on appeal.
Nnamdi, bringing you the news in a more digital way. Nnamdi, bringing you the news in a more digital way.